Hello everyone, it's Marie from Skeletorama again. Welcome back to my channel. Give it a house shift. How's everybody doing? I'm doing good. So I just put up 2 new kits on Etsy, and so I wanted to do kind of a little show and tell of it and let you see what they look like, and then maybe we can have a play and play with some of the images from them. So they're fairly small kits. They're only 5 pages each. And so I'll go ahead and show them to you. The first one is Vintage Women Image Collection. And please ignore the slight yellow cast at the top, because even though I replaced my yellow toner cartridge, apparently, I don't know, I didn't do it to its liking. I don't know why it's doing that. So it's doing like this yellow business here, and I've already hit the correct color thing, so I'm just going to have to figure out why it's being difficult. But anyway, so this one, and there are, I believe there's 40 images to this particular one, and they're all mostly black and white. Just vintage images that you can use. I did these ones because, you know, there's lots and lots of kits with vintage images out there, but they never seem to have ones that I wanted to use, right? Because I'm finicky, I guess. I don't know. And I wanted them about the right size to put on tags and journal cards and things like that, which is why I sized them the way I did here. So it's just a bunch of different classic images. Some are from postcards. I believe that's Matahari right there. And so same thing. And these as well. And some of these, like these ones here, are from different like costume parties that they had back in Victorian times, where all the wealthy people and the rich people would have these ridiculous parties and crazy costumes, and so stuff like that. I thought it was pretty fun. So that is Vintage Women, and it's set 1, because ostensibly I'll come out with another set, so I figured I'd go ahead and start numbering them. So that's set 1, and then the second set here is Classical Women. So same sort of thing, except these ones here are from classical artwork. You know, you have the Lady of Shalott right there. Different portraits, Marie Antoinette again. Different things. Can't remember the name of that, but that's a famous painting. And so on and so forth, and a few different sizes. So again, you can use them for, I mean, this is probably the whole size of a journal card or large tag. And these are even larger. And then you do get, of course, the PDF, so you can print them all out. But then I also include the JPEGs, so if you need to resize, you can. It's the JPEG of the entire sheet, so you'll resize the entire sheet. But one of the tips, if you know you want them about half as small, well, when you go to print it in Adobe, there'll be a little thing on the side that'll ask you what size you want, if you want it to fit, if you want it a custom size, and you can drop it to 50%, and it will, you know, shrink it down for you. Or if you go in and you have the JPEGs and you just right-click from File Explorer where you have it in your files, and click Print, it'll bring up a print menu, and it'll allow you to do like 4 of the pictures per page, that sort of thing, so that way you're not wasting space. Adobe will shrink it down to 50% right dead in the center, so it's not gonna tile it for you, but that one will. So just a little tip for you there. And again, the colors come out much better when I'm not arguing with my printer, which seems to always happen. So what can we do with these? Well, let me grab my thing. This is my bucket of stuff here, and so I pulled out, now this is using the Classical Women ones, and these are this little book page coin pocket. I did some tags here, and these were using the Tracy Fox and Artie Mays did a collaboration kit, and so they each had like half the kit, and you bought it from whichever one, and you know, each one had different tags and different stuff, and when you put them together, it's like this super kit, and it's just fantastic, and it's addictive and ridiculous. So I got that, and I went on this huge tag making spree, so I have a ton of them. So we have that one, and then these are just journal cards. So again, I printed the card from their kit, and then I added my own stuff to it. I love this one. I feel excited. She looks excited, doesn't she? She looks super excited. So we got those, and then the same thing with the Vintage Women kit. You know, here's some of the coin envelopes. You just layer them up and put them on there, or you can put them on tags or journal cards, you know, with a whole bunch of other stuff. So like, I know a bunch of people use the Florentine papers. Let's see where they are. Should have some on here. but I couldn't afford to get them. I wanted to get some, but either the shipping on them was, I couldn't afford it, or you just couldn't find them where I'm at. Like this one. This is one of my favorite ones. And of course they're under copyright, so nobody has them. So I ended up taking pieces of them that I found online and making my own version. I can't release that because obviously it violates copyrights, but so that's how I got the Florentine paper. So you can kind of make your own if you have Photoshop and are slightly inventive. But all right, so I'm going to straighten this stuff up, and I'm going to get these here and cut these out, and then we will have a play. I think we will make, because I have a bunch of book page here, so this is double thickness of book page, so maybe we'll make some kind of something with book page and using these pictures. So I will join you guys back here in just a few minutes. So I've got all of them cut out now, and I've also got some envelopes here, so I've decided what I want to do with them. I'm going to do some of the altered envelopes, kind of like the Roxy's weekly challenge ones that she did over on her channel. And I've got a bunch of different sizes of the envelope windows here. So it just kind of depends on which ones we want to do. I do have some samples to show you. The reason I was thinking of doing that is because I was doing one of these. So Gail did these on her channel, the ones where you take the 12 by 6 piece and then you score it and fold it, and you can make like a little book with all sorts of little random pages. And I thought, you know, it'd be cool is to do a window pocket, say here for one of the pages, and then, you know, something can tuck in this way. So let's see, we'll grab a different picture. See, this can tuck in like so. Now this stylistically does not really go with this, so I'll have to redo that, but I did play with a couple of them here. And so in this case, I did the front and the back because it's going to be viewable by both sides, but that's a fun thing that you can do with them. So we can do those, or I do have some other journals that I will need pockets for, so we'll go ahead and do that, I think, instead. Yeah, okay, so we have the classical women's set here. So let's find a picture that I really want to use this envelope with the big huge pocket window thing there. So we'll need something fairly large. I don't know if that, well, this could go, if the pocket went like that, that could go in there. All right, so let's see, where's that one? So it kind of depends on how I want the pocket to go at this point. You know, yeah, I think I will use that one. Okay, so got one. We're going to pick one from each set. Okay, so there's that one. And then this one here. Oops, she goes back over here with these guys. Okay, and we'll pick from those ones. So let's get another one with a large envelope window. That one's pretty good. Okay, now it's not going to be tall enough, but there's a way we can get around that because that's what I did on these ones over here. So let's see. Oh, that was kind of cool. Don't want it to be too small. I kind of like that one too. Oh, that's the tricky part, is deciding which one you want to use, right? There's a whole ton of them in here. Probably should have picked this before I started filming. Oh, I like that one too. All right, so anything else jumping out? No, no, and probably not. Okay, so we've got it down to these three. How does she fit within the window? She fits pretty good. But you know, I actually kind of like this one the best. And here's why. We're going to be using some papers from some different kits that I do not make. They're from Medieval Mirage, who is probably my favorite, hands down favorite, junk journal digital kit maker on Etsy. And I mean, look at this, right? So I've got a couple of the kits here. What I do when I get her kits, and they're huge. They're like 50 pages a piece. And they're a little more expensive than other kits, but they're 50 pages a piece, and that goes for the add-on kits with the ephemera. There's tons. You'll have carpal tunnel, but it'll be so worth it. But anyway, so what I do is I always print out the kit first onto regular copy paper, and that's what I use. And I make master boards and different things like that with them, but I mean, they're just so pretty. Look at that. And so like for something like this, I'm going to raid these pieces here, and then I save this to use for something else. And then I also, that was in the Company of Owls and Raptors, I believe is the name of that one. And then this is Medieval Odyssey Volume 2. So as you can see, here is where I started having issues with my printer. It gets rather upset when I print this many pages in one shot, but it's like, that's what you do, man. Come on. You got one job. So there's a couple of them, like here, so you can totally see where the yellow decided to not play nice and whatever. But that's fine, because we can use all the rest of it. And again, I was printing this out on regular paper anyway, because I was going to use it for things just like this. I'll show you another example. So this is a journal that I'm making using her, I think it's Medieval Monuments one. It's got all the different castles and things. And so I make master boards with them, right? So this center collage piece is just a piece of copy paper and our notebook page. And I collaged the tissue paper on the back side, and then I did just a big huge collage with that and book page and all kinds of stuff. And I'll use that as a little centerpiece in each signature, so each signature has one. And then of course I will also scan them so that later on I can reprint them and use it for like backing for tags next time I go to use that kit or something. I have it as a resource. And then as per always, we have book text. This is my book that the post office murdered. And then I have a bunch of them printed out, ones from my kits, just bits and pieces of stuff here and there. And I have my Primo scraps, which are of course from some of her other kits, of the Monuments one, and I forget what the other one is, but there's a bunch of stuff in there. And then I also have these scraps. So these are, I mentioned in one of the previous videos how much I love like the Florentine papers, but I don't have a resource for them and I can't afford the shipping on it. So I kind of made my own. So basically found some just good quality images, and you know, I had to tile them together, of course, because this wasn't the whole image. This probably was, and I had to tile it and make it work. But that's one way to do it, and then print it out. Same goes for the William Morris paper. I love William Morris designs. His stuff is very confusing, the copyright on it, because he worked for a textile company and made some of them as an employee of the company. The copyright is still valid on those. Even though the ones that he made not with the company have gone into public domain. So unless you feel like figuring that stuff out, and I do not, I probably won't end up doing a kit with those anytime soon. But okay, so we've got those. And yeah, so we've got our envelopes and our pictures. So obviously we're not going to use the whole envelope for it. So we need to decide, are we going to have it top loading, side loading? How do we want this thing? So this one obviously is going to lend itself to a top loading pocket here. So we'll end up, you know, gluing that down, and we're going to cut this down in size. Same with this one here, but I think with this one I'll do like one of the side loading ones like this one here. I'll just make it a little bit taller because this one's a little bit taller. So you definitely want to make sure it's going to fit within the confines of your journal, whichever journal you're doing. So mine's going to have to be no more than, I would say, it's like 4.5 inches wide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'll put this envelope in here. So this one, oh no, it's going to have to be 5. Well, let's see. Yeah, that should work. Actually, I can probably go over just a tiny bit. It's just going to be a really big pocket. Okay, so I'm going to cut it that way. Do not get rid of this, because we're going to make a pocket out of this too. And we'll go ahead and do it the same size, and see, I did a great job opening that one, didn't I? So let's cut from that side, shall we? And let's see, we'll do this one like 4 3/4. No, we'll do it 5. Boom. Okay. If this had been like this on the back, it doesn't really matter because I was going to cover part of the back anyway, so you just would cover it with paper, so no big deal. So we've got those two there. And then with this one here, same sort of thing. Let's see. I'll go 4 inches on this one. That part I can get rid of. And then for the height, I'll do it kind of even so that that window's sort of in the middle. This one I can use as a small pocket as well, so we're not going to get rid of that. Okay, so we've got this one, it goes with this. This one is going to go with this. And we have this extra one here. So it would do well as a pocket like this. So you know what, we're going to grab another one. Do I think I'm going to be able to make 3 of them in a decent time frame? I highly doubt it. But let's see, this one actually has more that are landscape. Okay, so I'm down to these, between these 3. You know what, I think we'll go with this one and then we'll just tear it down and it's going to be the center. Okay, so now for these ones, since we're going to be doing some stuff in here, it's best to just go ahead and cut this side because you can re-glue it. It's not a big deal and it'll really make it so much easier for you. Because I like to cover the leading edges of those as well and all sorts of stuff. Kind of depends on how it's going to be, you know, seen in the book, whether it's going to be glued down or not. So we'll do that with these. Oh, this we need to glue down first. Okay, so we have that glued down. And actually, since we glued that down, well, no, we still have to do that because, yeah, I need to be able to get in there. I was going to say, oh, that's a bummer because I could have just had it already put together, but no. Oh, well, is what it is. No, this one we're not doing the inside. We don't have to do that. Okay, Jesus, save me from myself, right? Okay, so, and this one we'll just end up gluing this way and this way, but 6 of 1, we just had to have it open somehow. Okay, so we're going to sit this one to the side. This will be the if we have time, but we'll work on these two. So what I normally do is I will take and I will put the photograph in there so that it goes to about where I want it to. Okay, so there's that one, and then this one in here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue down the pictures on the inside. So to make sure I'm putting it in the right place, I get it where I want it, and then I open this, and I'll just kind of do a line here and here and here, because you will not see it once we cover it with everything. And then I'm going to take my regular PVA glue. And I'm going to go around. I'm going to get glue on my hand, and then I'm just going to stick this along those lines where I had it. Double check, yep, looks good, which is a good thing because this glue's quick, so you don't have a whole lot of time. Okay, same with this one. Get this one centered. And just put enough markings on there so that I can find it. These are a lot of fun. It'll actually make you look forward to getting junk mail. So it's so funny when my husband goes to check the mail now. You know, normally we don't get a whole heck of a lot, bills, that kind of stuff. But yeah, he calls these art supplies. So if all we got was junk mail, he's like, "Oh, you got art supplies." I get all excited, and I was like, "Oh yeah, those." But still, they're super cool, and they're free. Okay, so there we go. We have these in here. Right, so now that we have these in place, we can go ahead and start covering it. So the order I do it in, I mean, everybody does it slightly different, but I know I want to cover the leading edge with some paper. Okay, and like in here, it's going to be in the side. So, you know, number one, I'm going to cut the thumb notch in here somewhere, so I want something to see behind it. Plus it strengthens it with stuff going in and out. Plus it'll also overlap this, so when you do have something coming in and out, it's not going to maybe get caught on that. So we are going to do this large one here first. So I just got to find a place to put stuff where it's going to stay. Okay, so we're going to do this large one here first, which is cool because we can use a lot of this paper. So I'm going to pick something to do the back thing with. There's that plain one. There was a plain one in here. Oh, I like this. Okay, so we'll use this one here. You know, if I can grab it sometime this year. There we are. Thanks. Thanks, paper. For nothing. Okay, so I'm going to first, I like to cover the front and the back, and then I cut the thumb notch and do whatever else I need to do, and then I glue it down, because when I do the front, I like to have the paper going around so it's extra security. So I don't have one of the fancy tear rulers, but my Tim Holtz ruler actually works pretty good. And I'm going to tear this a bit large just because I want to save that as one piece. Yeah, it works really good. Watch it not work. Let's do it with the sharper side. There we go. Okay, so let's see, about there. And then this does not need to be anywhere near. Yeah, she did a real good job because I'm like, oh my God, what the hell got on the paper? It's supposed to be there. It's like blue flecks. Jesus. All right. So I'm going to tear off a piece here. And then I've got a piece of paper that I glue on. I know a lot of people will use, you know, books and then they do the glue book thing together. I'm never organized enough to do that. So I just have my little thing, and I'm using a glue stick for this kind of stuff. If it's heavier, like these are cardstock weight, that's when I'm going to use this, or when I'm gluing it together. But otherwise, it's all about the glue stick. And you can tell you've had it for a minute if your blue magic thing turns white. Still works, still fine, but you know, I guess it got tired of me using it. I didn't use it fast enough. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this right along this edge here. And then flip it over and bring it down like that. Okay, and then trim this side. And that is going to be the back opening of the pocket, right? So it's going to keep it nice and sturdy and secure. This one we've got to be more careful because of course we have this short window part here. And we don't want to go below the window. So let's find something for that. Okay, I want something a little more dramatic, so I think I'll use this here. And I really like this. I think this was a combination of her gorgeous page design and my printer, but you know, it actually worked out nice right there. So let's see. We'll go about there with it. Since it doesn't have to cover, you know, the back side completely, we just want it to be able to protect it and not be able to see the, you know, paper come back over on the other side either. All right, so I kind of like it like this. Take that edge, go about there. Okay, I'm going to straighten that up just a little tiny bit because that's going to bug me. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing here. So we're going to put this right about here at the bottom edge of the window, and then we're going to wrap this back over. And since there's less to come over this way, I know it's not going to go over too far, so we're totally good. I think there will be a lot of fast forwarding in this. You know, I'll just kind of slow it down when we get to important points, but I don't think you guys want to watch me, you know, dither over paper, because I totally can. All right, so right there, flip this open and bring this around to this side. And press this down. So now we have these two parts done. That's really the only parts that I wanted done before I go ahead and close it up and just do the whole thing. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my circle punch. So this is a 1 3/4 inch circle punch. I'm going to do a little thumb notch out of the center. You know, I just give the glue a minute or so to dry, but this way the thumb notch is coming out, and it's very decorative and whatnot, and I can ink it before I glue it down, and just makes the process a little easier. I'm going to ink this back part and then this edge here while I can get to it. All right, much better. Okay, so now we can go ahead and glue this down and then commence to covering the rest of it. So since I'm going to have this as a top loading pocket, I'm going to put glue here and here. And I'm just going to put a tiny, tiny bit because I want as much, you know, pocket real estate as I can, right? And then as I'm wrapping the papers over, they're going to secure it even more. So it's not necessary that this be, you know, some big, huge, thick section of glue, right? Okay, so there we go. That part is good. So now for the rest of it, you know, I'm going to be having stuff over here, so I don't mind that this is white because it's not going to stay that way for long. I usually like to start with book text to sort of give myself a bit of negative space. So I'm going to grab a little bit of book text, and this is probably going to be in there and glued down, I think, but I may go ahead and do it and do the back anyway, just in case, because this would make a great flip out too. But all right, let's get, so we've got just the text block here, and we'll pull off a chunk of text. And this one I do ink. I don't sit here and ink every single piece that I put on there because that'd be ridiculous, but I usually do it if I've got too big of like the white edge on there, or if it's book text, because I really like to have the edges of the book text stand out. So I think we will put this here, right here. No, I kind of want to go right there. Okay. So glue stick, and put a good amount of glue because you really want this stuff to stay down on there. Don't want it lifting up, even though it's going to have a bunch of other ones stuck. But so put that right there and flip it over and bring it around. And so this is the one that was still normally sealed, but as you can, that's what it's going to do to these sides here. It's also going to even them out, and it's going to secure them even more. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on fast forward, but not too fast, and go around, and I'll do the front, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do the back as well. And then if there's anything that I need to tell you kind of along the way, I will slow it back down and show you. Okay. Okay, and so like on here, if I've just got a tiny bit, I'm going to wrap some other stuff around at some point. So I'll just trim this off so that it doesn't get in the way, because that's a little too little to glue. So, okay, so I'm going to keep on going. so there is the front. And yeah, I was being very indecisive with a lot of my choices and stuff. Otherwise I would have just gone through it, but yeah, that would have been me going, oh, how about this? How about this? How about this? How about this? So I didn't want to do that to everybody. So now with the back, as you noticed, as I put stuff on the front and wrapped it around the back, the nice thing is pretty much all the edges on the back are done now as well. So now we can just put big chunks of stuff in here. So let's do that. Okay, so this is from one of my papers and postcard sets. I figured let's do a little bit of music on the back here. I'd save myself so much time if I remembered that, you know, this side needs to be torn up this way so I don't have the white edge on it. I wouldn't have to do this. Well, let's at least get that huge chunk off of there. I'm not going to use the whole thing. Maybe just about yay much, I think. So that way, you know, you start out with kind of your negative space. I have a tendency to make these, as you've seen, very busy because, you know, the scraps that I'm using are very busy and I love them and I want all of them on one envelope, which is not realistic. But, all right, let me get this down. And I just kind of work, you know, larger pieces to smaller pieces. And I usually like to do the edges first. It depends on the part. But see, now I can put this over here. I don't have to do anything additional to it, and it's still kind of broken up a bit there. So let me find some more stuff to put on the rest of it. Okay, I really, really like this. So we're going to take this off of here. Like I said, her papers are so great because they're already like super collaged anyway. So, you know, no matter what you do, it looks great. At least I think it does. Doesn't look like crap. Okay, so with this one, I'm probably going to want some other stuff underneath there. But this is kind of balancing out these colors. We'll have some more of them down here. And then we can go crazy with some other stuff up there. So usually the inking, I don't really even need it, but still like to do it. And so now if this was going to go somewhere where I was going to have, you know, it flips so you could use it as extra journaling space, I would then take some tea stain paper and like tear out a square and stick it to that so you could write on it or something, you know. I don't think I'm going to do that with this. You don't want to have stuff lining up. You want to have it in all different places and directions and colors, and just a chance to kind of go nuts with it. Is it going to be loud? Yes, of course it is. That's half the fun, right? So, like on the back one, I think I will take an image, or the back one, the front part. This was just looking a little too negative over here, so I took something that had an image. So I think I'm going to do the same for this part. Okay, and I like this one because this has a lot of stuff going on in it. So, no, let's do something that's bright and bold. Actually, this is really cool. I'm going to use my little ruler for this one, so we're not here for 17 weeks. And then I will tear some of it by hand just because I like it to be slightly irregular, you know. It's sort of weird that way. So I'll make some extra little tears, but you know, at least it's not me tearing the whole thing out, right? And I save scraps even this small because you never know when there's like a little tiny bit you need to cover. So yeah, that looks good. Okay, put that there. All right. So ta-da! Scoot some of this stuff over. Okay, so we have our first one. So this is the back here. I'll bring it up so you can see it. And then the front. And this front part here, of course, is a pocket, so we can put tags and things in there should we want to, or you can just leave it. I end up generally just leaving them. And so I had inked this part, so I'm going to ink the edges of this for sure. And since I covered the front and back, I'll go ahead and do both sides. That way it kind of pulls it together a little bit. Same with the back side. But yeah, these are super fun, and you know, especially if you have a journal kit that you're using to put these into a journal, for example, you know, print a bunch of the pages off that you really like from it and print them off on just regular copy paper. That way it's nice and lightweight, and you can put a bunch of different layers on there, and it's not gonna hurt anything. Okay, so there we go. There's the one. Set that up there, and we will grab our second one. Okay. All right, so I'll move some of my scraps off of here. So since I did mostly the Medieval Mirage with that last one because it fit, this one I'm actually going to use some of the Florentine papers and the William Morris and that kind of stuff. So let's find something we want to use for, this is going to be a side entry pocket. Let's see what we want to cover that. And it doesn't have to be the same thing all the way down. It looks really cool if you do different pieces of stuff. So probably that piece would be good. What else do I have that's small, but not too small? Or I, you know, can make one, which is usually what I end up doing. So let's grab some of this. I really like this one. Okay. That'll be for the front, and actually we need something for the back. So what do I got? Yeah, we'll use that. Okay, so just like we did on the other one, with these, you know, we don't really need to measure it because we know that, I mean, this is the same width as this, so obviously it'll be okay if we do this and fold it over. So I think we'll do this piece first, I kind of want that to come over that one. So we'll tear that off about here. So with these, I do go to the end. I'd rather go to the end and cut it off, because even though, yeah, we'll still be able to wrap it, if you're short on this one, you won't because it'll be glued down. So, and this one's edge is a little too white, and I don't feel like sitting here and tearing that. Even though it'll be covered, actually, now that I think about it, so I didn't really need to do that. Yay! Okay, so glue stick, and same way as last time, and put this down towards the end like so, flip it around and just fold it over. I'm going to trim this end up here because that's going to end up getting glued and all that good stuff. So there's one, and I'll put this on the other side. And I'm not too worried about matching it up because I know I'm going to have more stuff going over here. So it's not gonna, you're not gonna see where they, you know, if they both end at the same plane there, it doesn't matter. Trim that. All right, and And this one obviously doesn't need to be quite this long, and this will have go all the way over to meet her, so that way it can do double duty as well, protecting stuff from getting caught from sticking it in there. All right. And we'll trim that guy up too. And then we're going to do exactly the same as we did on the other one. We've got this part here, so we're going to go ahead and cut the little notch out of here. Go a little bit deeper on that one. I just kind of eyeball it. It's roughly halfway. And then since I'm not going to want to fiddle with trying to get to these, I'm going to go ahead and ink them. Now you can see how this is obviously really warping. You see that? Don't even worry about it, because as you're introducing the glue, even though it's a glue stick and it's a dry-ish glue, it's still got moisture to it, so it's still going to make this warp. When I'm done with these pockets, what I do is I take them and I stack them and I put heavy books on them to kind of flatten them out. But I just wait until I'm done with them for that. Okay, so now this one here, you can still see the top and the bottom because she's not quite tall enough. We're going to address that as well. I like this one, so we'll take some of this. Okay, and then this doesn't have to be, we're not going to have to cover the entire inside of it, just so that when you see it through, poking through here, it, it looks like it's continuous, but it's really not. I always like to cover the very bottom edge of the photograph because I don't like the straight edges on there. All right, so I'm going to find another one. We'll get that in there. Okay, so now when we shut this, we're not seeing any more white envelope part. Now we see the little bits of paper peeking in and around through there. So now we can go ahead and glue our sides up and get ready to cover the rest of it. All right, so let's see. Actually, I think I'll start with some book text again. So this one I do want it to be kind of straight-ish, more or less. So it's going to go along this edge here. With these, I usually do kind of go over it either on the bottom or the top just to cover that little weird, because these are round and the stuff you're putting on it's square. So instead of trying to figure that out, I just will cover some of them up. So we're going to do some book text here. So this one I do want to ink. Let's see what else we want down the side. And then on this one as well, I'll go ahead and decorate the back, just in case I want to use it as some. I probably won't, but again, it's just paper, so. is the back, and there's the front. And again, this is our pocket we can tuck stuff into. It opens from the side, so you can either add, you know, some sort of mechanism to turn it into a flip, or you can just glue it down or glue it as a tuck. I mean, you can do so many things with these, but generally I will do the back anyway, whether or not I'm sure what I want to use it for, because sometimes I'll change my mind halfway through. So better to just have it done and not have to worry about it. So there is that. And I think we're good. So let me clean up some of this mess. I'll be right back with you. All right, so here we have it. We have our big, huge, large pocket that we made out of the envelope. And again, this is a top loading pocket, so you can put stuff in there. And we have this one here, which is a side loading pocket. Okay, and with these, you know, like I said, see how warped that is? I'm going to put these under something heavy and have it sit there and smoosh them down, probably overnight. Just helps a little bit. Once you glue it down, obviously in a journal, it fixes itself too. But here's two more of them that I did using the same kit of images. So I have two of them. Of course, I have the Classical Women set one. And it's mostly paintings and stuff throughout history and whatnot, some famous, some just portraits. And then I have the vintage ones. So these are mostly late 1800s up through maybe, I don't know, the 1910s, maybe the 20s, I don't know, but like a lot of silent film stars and things of that nature. So you can do a lot of stuff with them. You can make tags, you can do whatever you like. So but this is what we did today, and these you can make, you know, not quite as loud as I make them, but I really like them, and especially if you have a plain page in your journal, bam, that really, you know, ramps it up to 11. And then you can put a very, very plain tag in there. I usually don't put a tag because I want to see what's behind the window. You know, it's just you have the option to put something in there, but I hardly ever do. So, okay, so that is that. And these are the tuna kits. I'll put the link in the description box below for you. And then I do have another kit that just came out. It's wings. Let me see if I got my cutout pieces. Okay, that one is a fussy cut set. It's called Wings and Things. So basically, I was doing something, I needed wings for something, and so I made some. So this is what it prints out and cuts out. I've fussy cut all these already because I'm getting ready to play with them. And just tip when I do, and I'll show you this, I'm going to do a video with these too, but I leave like some paper connecting them. Not that I'm going to leave it connected, but it's just so I don't have to dig around for the other one of these wings in here. So it helps. So I've got that. That's also available on Etsy now. I'll put a link to that. And then I'm very excited because I did get my hands on some Scottish Gaelic pages, some more Irish pages, and these are what they call it, Middle Irish, I believe. It's from way long ago, like Old English is for the English language. That's what this was for Irish, I guess. That and some Welsh. So super excited. So those, as soon as I can find a way, and a bunch of music and all kinds of stuff. As soon as I can find a way to put that into a kit that makes sense and is not gigantic, but I don't want 27 kits, then I will do that. So there will probably be one more Ireland one, and I'll do at least one or two in the Scottish Gaelic, because that's so much harder to find. And then of course the Welsh, that's just brilliant. I'm super stoked about that. So those will all be coming soon. So at any rate, I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you enjoy your junk mail and make it into something way prettier than whatever hooker they're trying to throw through your window to get you to get their credit card. So anyways, I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.